Hello everyone and welcome to the Gooner Factory. So today we will be talking about Gabriel Jesus and some of the nonsense stories are being written about him in the media. First, we're going to be answering the questions that is on a lot of people's lips, and that is, can Arsenal win the Champions League? So I'm going to tell you why we can, but I'm also going to tell you why maybe we can't. So let's get into it. So first, we're going to be talking about the Champions League and reasons why Arsenal can win it. Maybe why they can't as well, but firstly, why can we? First of all, we've probably got the team now that is good enough to win it. Worse teams than ours have won the Champions League. So we are more than good enough, but we've also got the depth as well. I mean, look at Wednesday's game, for example. You win 6-0, yes. I know it's a group game. And yes, it's against Lens, but it's still in the Champions League. Lens are still a team that finished second in the French league, only 1 point behind PSG. I've said it already, but it's true. They're still a decent enough side. And we win that game with a few players injured as well. We got no Partey, we got no Yuri and Timber, no Fabio Vieira, no Smith Rowe. And yes, I know that the last two probably won't start. They're not starters, but Partey and Timber would be. So the fact we're still able to perform this well with key injuries is testament to our squad depth. The next reason is going to be our defence. I've said it before, least goals conceded in the Premier League, second joint least in the Champions League, and in terms of personnel, you've got some of the best defenders in the world. Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, tomiyasu, Zinchenko, that is a solid enough back line to win a competition. But then you look at midfield, yes, we would be in a better position if we had Partey back, but he's not too far away now anyway. So by the time them latter stages in the Champions League show up, Partey will be available anyway. So then you've got a solid enough midfield. You've got the combative options, but then you've also got the attacking players as well. You've got Havertz, you've got Odegaard. And then you look at the wingers. You can't look at them wingers and tell me they haven't got what it takes to win the Champions League. What more do you want? You've got wingers there. They're going to attack any defender. They're always looking to go past the man, but they're clever enough to link play as well. And then if you are defending and you need support from your wingers, that's exactly what Arteta has made sure that these wingers do. They do the defensive work, because you ain't getting in Arteta's team if you don't do the defensive work. So then you look at the strikers. You've got Jesus and you've got Nketiah, who's a decent enough bench option. But I think Eddie is the perfect player for Arsenal because he doesn't seem like he's going to be causing problems behind the scenes if he isn't starting every game. And he's a great option to bring on for sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes. The defenders by that point, they're all a bit tired. And that's when he's probably going to excel. He's a real fox in the box as well. He knows where the goal is. He knows how to link with Saka. He knows how to link with Martinelli. He's probably as good an option as you're going to get for the role needed, where he's probably going to be on the bench for most of the games. And yeah, of course, there will be times where he needs to come in and start some cup games, or Gabriel Jesus is injured again. But we've seen recently he can start games and be successful. He had a hat-trick not too long ago. So to have a player who's sort of happy to wait his turn and not cause too much fuss, you'll do well to find a better option than Nketiah. But that's me telling you why we could win it. Let me tell you why we might not win it. And I think there's three main reasons. They're Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Man City. Look, and I'm not saying we couldn't beat those teams, but in terms of who's going to be the harder games and who you would expect to be there in them later stages, you would have to say them teams. I mean, if you look at the bookies' favourite, they have Man City first, Bayern Munich second, Real Madrid third, and Arsenal fourth. So we're definitely in with a shout. So if there's anyone saying Arsenal can't win the Champions League just because we never had, they're not really looking at the facts. And the facts are, we are, right now, one of the strongest teams in Europe. And I'm not saying, look, even me, I don't put Arsenal as favourites, of course, but you never know what's going to happen in knockout football. And Man City, they're the favourites. They're the title holders. We beat them a couple of weeks ago. And yes, they are more likely to win it than us because they have the know-how, they have the experience, they have players who know what to do in certain important moments. And that is valuable in these kind of high-stake games. And Arsenal, yeah, they are a young team, but at the same time, no one's a winner till they're a winner. So you have to look at this optimistically and back what you're seeing, which is, as we said, solid at the back, deadly in attack. Let's go. Right, so we spoke about City. Now, what about Bayern? Now, this is a team, to those that remember, they have a habit of knocking Arsenal out. There was a period sort of 5 or 6 years ago, we would get drawn them every year, and they knocked us out every time. But I think we could beat them now. This is not the same team. This isn't Mustafi and Kolasinac and Per Mertesacker and Coquelin. At the time, them sort of players, that they were nowhere near world level. None of them big teams would have gone anywhere near any of them players. But look now, Real Madrid, they would have Saliba. Bayern, they would, and in fact did, want Rice. City would want Saka. We have level of players now that would get into all these top teams in world football. So Bayern, yeah, they're a good team. But Arsenal, yeah, they're a good team. So I certainly don't think that they would blow us away like them years gone by. Harry Kane on form, yeah, he possibly is the best striker in the world, but we've played him plenty of times. So will he score against us? Yeah, probably. But he's scoring against everyone at the minute. But would we score against them? Probably, yeah, because we're scoring against everyone at the minute. So give me one of these teams in the next round. That's the only way people are going to start looking at Arsenal as like a legit elite side. But if we was to get like a fluky run to the final like certain teams have in the past, there's no pride in that, is there? So give me Real Madrid. Let's test ourselves. Let's see how good we really are. And these are the nights that would live in our memory forever. Imagine going to the Bernabeu and beating them again like we did when we had players like Thierry Henry. And they're the games you don't forget. They're the games that make you look back and say, what a side. What a moment. So the only way to get those sort of nights again are by playing these big sides. So if I was offered now an easy route to the final, guarantee I wouldn't take it. No chance. You're telling me you don't want to see Saka at the Allianz or Martinelli at the Bernabeu dropping players. I mean, let's just get this last group game over and done with so we can see who we get. Right, so on to this next section. We're going to have just a quick word on Gabriel Jesus. There's been a couple of articles covering something he said recently that was taken completely out of context. And they're sort of now running with a story that Jesus doesn't back himself to score goals, which is ridiculous. So you might have seen the stories. And all it is Jesus said in an interview, if I'm in a position where I can't score, I like to pass to my teammates or create a chance for them. But now the stories are saying Jesus doesn't back himself to score goals. I mean, talk about having a quiet news week and needing to run with something. I mean, I saw another article as well where he was interviewed and they asked him, what do you think of the stories that have been linking Ivan Toney with a move to Arsenal? And what he said was, this happened, you know. Maybe it can be agents talking about a lot of things. I'm not the most experienced, but I think I've seen a lot of things in football. Sometimes it's like this. It happened at City, even with Aguero and me scoring. I was scoring a lot and people was linking everyone. So here I don't care about this. I know my qualities and I know what I can bring to the team. I can score. I can also help with other things like opening spaces, but the only people who can see it are the ones who watch the game and understand. Those who don't understand will say that, oh, he didn't score today, but maybe I run an open space for someone. And let's be honest, I don't miss a lot of chances, but I don't think it's about that. He doesn't know how to score. Sometimes I have to be in the box. That's one thing I'm working on. So that's just Jesus there explaining he sort of doesn't care about the links because he knows what he can bring to the team. And I've got to say I agree with him. Because when he is on form and he's not injured, he does contribute so much to the team. And then he's just saying he might not always score because he's helping create gaps and openings for other people to exploit. But he's also acknowledged that he probably does need to be in the box a bit more. So I like what he said and I agree with him. And the whole Jesus doesn't back himself to score story is just nonsense. But let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. Do you think Arsenal can win the Champions League? And who do you make the favourites? But also, would you bring in Ivan Toney for Arsenal? And as always, thanks to everyone for watching and listening, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Until then, Gooners, have a good day.